What up? What up? PVM Talk Show, Positive Vibes, maybe Jeide 8-track. I'm feeling a little bit good, you know what I'm saying? I can't even hold you. It wasn't always like that today, but you know what I'm saying? God is good, so we grooving exactly how we should. How y'all doing this evening? Dash, what's going on with you, fam? Meteor Man, what's going on with y'all? Hope y'all having a lovely evening and a productive day. We have a lot of things to get to today with this part 2 episode, so let's put up the the topic and let's get into it. You know what I'm saying? Von Brown, what's going on with you, bruh? How you living? Part 2. What is black? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pin this comment and we gonna we gonna open this jaw smooth and all that, you know what I mean? Meteor Man, part of me said, what's good, fam? Life is good. That's what it is, man. That's why I love hearing, you know what I mean? Trip 7, good with you, man. That's what it is. What's going on with you?
How you living? How you living?
Can't complain, fam. I can't complain, you know what I'm saying? It was a day earlier. I ain't gonna hold you. I wasn't even in the mood. You know what I mean? I had to talk to my girl and everything. They'll calm me down and shit, because I was just off my pivot, you know what I mean? I was in a funk, you know what I'm saying? But
Why?
no.
Why?
Energy. You feel me?
I understand. Be like that at times.
Word. You know what I mean? But this nigga really got the fro out. This you know what I mean?
Like Afro Thunder, you know what I'm saying?
I feel you. I dig that. That's what it is. That's what it is. Hold on. So we got Vaughn. Vaughn Brown wants to hop up in here. But before we bring you in, Vaughn Brown, we gotta do something a little bit. You got just to open up the conversation or whatnot. And when we bring you in, you're gonna be a part of this too, because this is a fly way of opening the conversation. Our executive producer suggested that we open up the conversation with a little bit of a game for all of us to jump into and enjoy and whatnot. Trip 7 said, blessed and abundant, man. As you should be, brother. God bless you. So, part 2, once again, love to everybody who was a part of the conversation in part 1, where we talked about Black History Month, where we talked about what is black, when we went into so much details and we were dissecting a lot of shit. But there were a lot of voices that didn't really get their recognition throughout the conversation outside of the internal dialogue that was being done in the comment section. So it was only right for us to have a part 2. But our executive producer decided that we should open this joint up with a game, so let's get it started. Black card revoke. I'll start first.
Yeah.
Man, straight up. Von Brown said, I'm going to be edited. I'm at the gym. Can't let the gym know how I'm really. He funny as shit. Von Brown be editing himself around certain people, like, and circumstances. Don't let him fool you. Because Von Brown was laid up the other day with, you know what I'm saying? He was laid up with the chocolate thing the other day. He was cool the motherfucker. That motherfucker was that nigga was Isaac Hayes, you know what I'm saying? As soon as he was laid up with that chocolate, that nigga was Isaac Hayes. I ain't never heard that nigga talk that deep. He was like, yo, what's up? What's up? Eyes low and shit. I don't even know he smoked. He was like, I'm just chilling.
That's how you are when you with your lady. You know, the lady just bring out a certain element out of you that others don't normally see. You know.
I dig it. Von Brown said for his future wife. I salute.
Hey, I salute that.
I salute that, brother. You know what I'm saying? Omi, what's going on with you, love? So let's get it started. I'm gonna start with this. First of all, revoke my black card right now. I don't give a fuck about Spades. Period. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas try to put me on the Spades one time, like a few times actually. And I ain't gonna hold you. The first time niggas tried to put me on the Spades, niggas had the audacity to get mad at me as if I'm supposed to know how this shit work immediately, but you teaching me for the first time. That's how I knew shit was fucked up. And I should have took that as a motherfucker. And I should have took that. I should have took that and ran with it. It's like, yo, this is bullshit. But I was young and dumb at the time, and I wanted to be in certain in crowds because I had a self-imposed deficiency about me as far as how men should move and as far as what I aspired to be, as far as what manhood manhood meant to me. You know what I'm saying? So I was out here following a lot of fuck niggas about what I thought being a man was about and shit. And these niggas out here, man, listen, Spades is a fun game to a degree, but the way motherfuckers take that shit serious, y'all niggas can miss me with that shit.
That's
Like, I'm playing solitaire. Fuck y'all niggas.
Uno is right there underneath it. Like Uno is right there underneath Spades, but they both heavy movers. Like it's I can definitely agree with that. Yeah, people will say that. See, for me, and I don't want to make it deeper than it is, but for me, I can never say I revoke your black card because for me, that was always. See, I grew up in a household where you couldn't say that too much. Mostly, my grandparents kind of beat it into me early in my life, like saying that it's almost that's the equivalent of being the most disrespectful to a black person that you can be, you know, because that's how my grandparents broke it into me. Like, so for me, I never even did that because it was just like, who am I as a black man to tell you you aren't black because the things you do are different than what I would do?
Oh, I thought you was talking about saying fuck Spades was like the most disrespectful thing. Nigga, my heart.
Spades is life. I told you that. Spades is life. That's a way of life. That actually is a way of bonding and figuring out people's tendencies. Like you could find a lot out about a person by the way they play their cards, like in Spades. And it took me a minute because like as you know, I didn't really learn how to play Spades until recently when we was with Breezy and her lady, you know, a couple years back. So after that, you know, obviously I got into more Spades games with family, with friends, you know, and you know, just curiosity, just to want to get better, you know. And honestly, it is a key factor of learning how certain people move. Like certain people I came closer to, or I was able to read them better as individuals by the way they play their hands. You know, I'm able to determine like what type of person you are as far as like, are you a risky person? Are you more skittish with things? You're reluctant to make a decision. You know, it kind of like, but you kind of got to look deep into it. Like, you know, like, and then you got some people who just throw cards, and then that's kind of scary too, because it's kind of like it's kind of foretelling like that's how you live in life. Like you just out here, like
You just out here. Oh man, I go like this is my thing. One of my problems is this. I don't even know if it's a problem. That's one of my things. Is like, yo, I live in the gray area, sure, but when it comes to certain things, man, I'm an extremist, man. I'm either chilling or I'm on go. So like, I can't be in a situation where we supposed to be playing something for quote unquote fun and niggas want to get gully like they want to do something, man. Like, listen, man, calm the fuck down, man. This is just a game. Like, niggas want to get gully, we can turn this shit to something else. Cause this.
But yeah, it do get real. Like the last time I actually seen the incident that was about to turn physical over Spade, it was actually a family Thanksgiving a couple years back, and it was my great uncle, and he was about like, I want to say like in his mid-70s, and he was playing my uncle who was like in his late 50s, and they was going at it hard. Like, you know, obviously the family was drinking Henny, you know, so you had bells already in you, you had the Hennessy in you.
That's another black card revoke. Fuck Henny.
Oh yeah, fuck Henny, yeah. Hennessy is the most overrated drink in all of alcohol. Like black people, we pump up Hennessy and gave them so much money. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. Hennessy is nasty as shit.
Henny is stupid. Like, what?
I prefer a nice little whiskey, you know, or a vodka.
Oh, you wild. Vodka, you wild. You need nah.
Dog, you ain't hit the right ones then. Like, you get you the fuck is that face? Like, get you some Kettle One vodka, my man. That thing's smoother than water. Smoother than water. Now, granted, I haven't had none since COVID started, but before COVID started, I was knocking them fists back. Like, but yeah, get you a Kettle One, or get you a whiskey. Yeah, or tequila. I fucks with tequila too. You know,
I fucks with tequila. I'm with you on that.
So, but they got into a little altercation over the Spades. So apparently, my uncle, he double booked my great uncle which pissed off my great uncle because they could have won the book previously. So all I remember is just I'm like knee deep into my macaroni and cheese, getting it the fuck in. And I just hear my great grandfather just slam on the table hard as shit. That bottle fell off the table. He was like, "No, fuck all that. Fuck all that. Motherfucker, I know the fuck you didn't." So everybody get up and eat. And like, he real old. So everybody like trying to calm him down. Cause they just like, yo, chill out, my man. Like nobody really trying to go to the hospital. He just like at the top of his lungs, "No, fuck that. I know you ain't had that in your hand the whole time. I know you ain't had that in your hand the whole time." Like,
That's hilarious.
he got so pissed. Like, that was the first time I ever seen him put hands on somebody, because he just like leaned over the table and smacked my uncle. And then like, yeah, it got real. It got real. I told you, it got real.
That's the type of shit I'm talking about. Like God bless me, I ain't never been in an altercation through Spades, but I just don't like the energy. I'm not a fan of the energy. Like I'm an energetic type person. Like if it's gonna be what it's gonna be, let's just stay with it. I don't like putting on the face of like, yeah, we about to do something and then we don't do nothing, or we're putting on the face like anything cool, but we about to do something. Like, nah, man, I don't like playing those type of games. I am way too old for that shit now, man. I'd rather just chill in the cup with some wine. Shout out to Pretty Rude. She said I drink kava on occasion. I'm not sure what kava is, but the fact that she shouted out wine, shout out. Red wine is my groove, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could drink some Rosa Miguel. That's a nice smooth ass wine. You know, that's definitely a favorite of mine. Wait, Brown said, "What game starts more fights, Spades or Uno?" Honestly, that depends on the party that you're around. Like, so like when I was in college, or like when I'm around people my age and we play Uno, it get real. Like,
why y'all mad over colorful card games?
No, I mean, look, I did fight over a game of Uno before. Like, somebody was pissing me the fuck off. Like, because like I play it with the number and the color stacksies. So somebody fucked me up real hard and it hit me with the draw 4 plus the draw 2 plus another draw 2. Then reverse hit me with another draw 4. I was like, "No, fuck this shit." Flip the table over, like, and I was down to one card at the time, so that shit loaded me the fuck up. I was like, "No, fuck you." Like,
hold on, was y'all playing for money? Because I understand if niggas is playing for money, I understand if emotions get involved.
I mean, look.
Oh.
Sometimes pride is more valuable than the dollars spent in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like the money in the game, not always necessary. Sometimes it's just the pride alone of, you know, you're feeling like you're being robbed in the game. Like, now I had situations where I snapped on both. You know, now I only fought when it came to the money. Now that time I did fight because I fucked up my cousin, like, because that nigga was robbing me. Like, I swear he like rigged the deck on me because all I had was numbers. My man had all the skits, all the draw 4s, all the change colors. Like, all I had was the basic numbers. So I'm looking at how fucked up my hand is compared to the fire shit he throwing down every time. And I'm just like, "No, fuck this shit. You cheated." Like,
fuck this shit.
In my eyes, and he was just like, "No, nigga, it's just the way the cards was dealt. You know, it's just, you gotta believe in the heart of the cards." And I was just like, "All right."
With the Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, me with the bullshit. So I hit him. Like, all right. The heart of this fist is gonna resolve things. Like,
yo,
ain't no fucking way in the world. Like, I done dealt plenty of card hands, and I never came up with a hand that bad in my life. To this day, it's been the worst hand I ever had in the game of Uno. Damn. And it's a notorious liar. So I just knew from the rip, like.
Damn, that's crazy. All right. So hold on. Before you get into yours, we got to get into what your black card revoke is. But before that, let's get into some of these comments. It's already popping. Trip7 said, "I believe it's really the people you play with. Spades. It's a gentleman's game. You have to know how to control your emotions and separate the man from the boys." Respect. I dig that. L Dove said, "Remy is better to me." I can't even remember the last time I had Remy. You know what I mean? I ain't got no qualms with Remy, though. From what I could recall, I ain't got no qualms with Remy. You know what I'm saying?
Me up too, though.
Remy?
I think brown liquor that be fucking me up for the most part.
Yeah, brown liquor. Like I left liquor a long time ago. Like I'm every once in a while I might indulge in whiskey if it's like a celebration of a sort or it's a certain type of occasion. But man, I'm even weaning from red wine. Honestly, like red wine, my groove, and I'm weaning from that, man. It's like I'm chilling, man.
No alcohol lifestyle.
Bruh. Bruh, like I gotta shake things up for myself, man. I appreciate self challenges, man. I gotta shake things up for myself because I start feeling like I'm just going through the same loop and shit, man. And I start making myself go crazy and shit. You know what I mean?
No, I definitely understand that. See, that's why I ain't drinking alcohol no more. I was coming to crutch. I actually might give up weed for a couple of days soon. You know, like depending on how life revolves this next couple of weeks. You know, it's definitely gonna be after the birthday. Like I ain't stopping before the birthday. Like that's dead.
You can live vicariously through me because I put that shit down for a while. So you live vicariously through me and you keep flying your planes until you ready, fam. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. So Omi Create said people be ready to fight their children over stacked drawers.
Yeah, that's real shit. Like how can you not? That shit it's just frustrating, especially when you down to your last card and somebody hit you with that draw. It's just like dog. like it really start having you feel a type of way about somebody, especially when you feel like they attacking you. Like when like all this shit just landing on you, like hit a motherfucker and then double up on me, like hit me with the reverse, skip me. Like damn dog, you just skipped me 2 rounds in a row. Like and you gonna hit me with the draw 4? Like all right, I see you. Like I see you. You can't not take it personal because after a while you be like, all right, my nigga, I feel like you targeting me. Like
that hilarious. I can't hold you. Last time I played Uno, it was strip Uno, so the energy was a little bit different. I ain't mind losing or winning.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind losing that joint, depending on who was in the circle.
Nah, this is a 1-on-1. I ain't playing that. No. You don't love me. I know now.
Oh man, but no, I ain't never played 1-on-1 with somebody. Like I don't know if my blood pressure can handle that. But if it's for strip, then you know it's different.
It was strip. That's what I'm saying. Like energy was different. So to me, I lose, I win anyway. So like,
that's a win-win right there. Like
exactly.
You know, yeah, I can get with that. I can get with jiggy with that. Yeah, that's cool. I would definitely leave.
You know what I mean, we ain't got that much blood pressure for us to expand on shit, nigga. We getting old.
Yo. I don't be trying to get into arguments no more. That's why my favorite button is the block button now. Like, I don't even be debating with niggas no more. I just be like, look, I said what I said. Block. Like,
I like that. I said what I said. I like that.
Like, you ain't gonna debate me on how I feel about what I feel. Like, if this is how I feel, fuck you. Like, you keep your own stuff. Like, if I pulled up on your page and asked for your opinion, I don't want it. Like, so kind of keep it pushing, you know? Like,
yeah, straight up though, man. Hey, yo, but nah. We gotta get into it now, though, bro. What's your black card revoke, though? You know what I mean? If mine's is Spades and Henny, what's your black card revoke?
I told you I wouldn't revoke. I can't, as a black person, I can't say I would revoke somebody's black card.
No, like, yours, nigga. Fuck anybody else. What is something that you know that you don't do or you do that I have another black person say, yo, give me that card, son?
Oh, I don't know, cause like anytime somebody said it to me in the past, it's resulted into fisticuffs. So, because like I said, it's disrespectful to me, cause like you're not going to be another black person telling me what I'm doing doesn't quite. I'm not black now, cause it's something you wouldn't do. Like I'm going to look at you and be like, who the fuck are you? Like, and when I say that, that energy normally results in, oh, who the fuck you think you're talking to? And then that's followed back by, you know, even more intense energy. So now we fighting because, you know, like we both seeing things differently, you know, but just for the sake of it, what do I do that's different? I mean, I don't know. I'm a lot different than a lot of your typical black person. You know, like I stick to what suits me. So maybe definitely my music choice because I'm all over the place. So I know like in certain circles, you know, like yeah, I definitely get the eyeball look like when certain songs come on, like I'm driving in the car with a bunch of niggas and Miley Cyrus pop on, like I definitely get a look like my nigga. Like, but I mean, sometimes I do. I mean, it's like good and bad depending on the circle. Because I've been in the car before with some shady individuals, and Mariah Carey came on, and the whole car got lit. Like,
but all right, see, Mariah Carey, she mixed, right? Mariah Carey is mixed, I believe.
I guess.
I don't know, but Mariah Carey, that's different from like Miley Cyrus. Like Mariah Carey she got some jiggy to her. And I don't know anything about Miley Cyrus, so I'm not going to say that Miley Cyrus do or don't. I've never listened to a Miley Cyrus song. The only thing I know about Miley Cyrus is her pops is Billy Ray Cyrus and Migos did Hannah Montana. That's it. Like that's as far as I go with that shit.
Wait, Migos did Hannah Montana?
Hannah Montana.
Oh,
damn!
I thought you was talking about on the TV show for a minute. I'm about to say, wait a minute, what's that? Like, hello with that one, like.
Oh shit! Von Brown said, "I listened to Rihanna. I got love for that." See, Rihanna's another one. She got mad jiggy to her.
Yeah, I listen to Rihanna, but I mean, you know, mad black dudes listen to Rihanna though. Like, you know, like I done been in the car with a lot of gangsters. Like, well, I ain't gonna say they gangsters, but a lot of quote unquote street dudes, you know, listen to some Rihanna. Like Rihanna different. Like,
yeah, she different.
Like it's certain people that's ladies, but they outside that circle of like embarrassment. Like when Fantasia come on, like when I see you come on, like I'm singing that shit. Like I'm singing my whole heart too. Like I don't care, man. I don't care who's around, who's watching. I'm singing like off key, off kilter, at the top of my lungs. Like,
feel you. That's a fact. African love. What's going on with you, love? What's going on with you, love? Look at this guy. This guy right here with the Eminem do-rag. That nigga look nice. Motherfucker up top. What up with you, Vaughn?
What's good? Fucking arm hurt, cuz.
Oh, yeah.
Nah, man, because I pinched the nerve, man. I can't do what I usually do.
I feel you.
This shit hurt, cuz I'm like, right now, like, nigga, I just did some shit. And my shit, like, I'm trying to get through this, but this shit different.
And don't push too much through it, though, fam.
Nah, I'm chilling. I'm doing, I mean, I don't lift heavy, but every time I lift heavy, right, I be doing that shit without a spotter. That shit jam me up. So that's why I gotta jam myself up trying to be dolo all the time.
I got it. But Vaughn, like, since we have you on here, man, what's one thing that you do or that you don't do that would have a typical black person say, "Hey, man, let me see that black card right quick."
I vote.
oh, damn.
I don't
say that, bro. I don't say that because black people done pick Joe Biden in the office. They done pick Camilla in the office. Never got the president out here giving crack pipes.
Nah, bro. Is it me or
crack pipes? Like that's what we need.
Is it me? Me and my man was saying this, right? Okay, this right here, like this is gonna get my black card revoked. Right now, Trump don't seem that bad, do he?
No, he don't. I was saying this earlier today.
Trump don't seem that bad. I was saying that like a month into the event. Yeah, like when Trump said he was gonna do some shit, he did it. Like you don't gotta like what he say, but he got a bunch of like if you wanna say for real, that dude got a bunch of niggas out of jail.
Bunch of his niggas though.
Barack Obama didn't even do that.
Like, look, I ain't gonna hold you. Trump ain't perfect, but he damn sure running laps around Biden. And that's keeping it 100. Like Biden been fucking up. Like since he got in office, this nigga ain't do one thing right.
No, he no. Trump handled that shit like a business, bro. You say if you did something for him, he looked out. Like you know what I'm saying? This nigga over here doing some bullshit. I'm like, yo, cuz, you that out of touch that you over giving out like legit pipes out. Like, come on, give me a fucking
Right?
break, man.
And yo, it's not even just the pipes he giving out. He giving out a whole drug program where they can get the drugs cleaned. If they're toxic, they can get cleaned out themselves so they can continue to do drugs. Like my nigga, we got bigger issues to resolve in this country, and you taking care of the drug addicts.
But think
Like,
about this for a second, right?
no state or nothing, but like you could let them die. They like choosing to use drugs is a choice. Like there's bigger things we gotta address beforehand. Hey, look, Jeide, truth hurts. Like
He said truth hurts.
No, think about this shit, right?
I say it like this nigga. Like that's why I put on the post. I was just like, you can't even make this shit up. Like you just be hearing the news and you just be hearing the shit that's coming from the White House, and you hear the rhetoric and the things this president say. It's just like, my nigga, are you not even in touch with what's going on in the country right now? Like, it's times I feel like this man got dementia up there. Like, he'll be talking, and he'll go so off topic. It's just like, damn, dog, you more thrown off than Trump. Like,
no, but look at this. We spend millions of taxpayer dollars, right, on the the war on drugs, right? Now you're making it more convenient to use drugs. You're like, think about that for a second. This goofy shit now. Me and Quick was talking earlier. When goofy shit like this happen, you gotta pay attention to what's really happening. Behind every goofy story is some real shit that they don't want you to know.
yeah. Oh no, this is definitely the distraction for something.
So,
This is the distraction for something. Like, and that's
what else? I don't believe in the. I don't believe that citizens that's not involved in any kind of illegal activities can snitch. Snitching when you going.
Not involved in
well,
activity.
people got snitching wrong. Like snitching, you can only snitch if you were there participating in a crime too. Like
No. You participating, you snitching. You tell.
Snitching and tattletelling is the same thing. So I'm gonna say my only nuance to that is you have to be a part of a circumstance or a situation, period, to be able to snitch about it. Because if I'm at the workplace and I get like, all right, I work at Home Depot, right? Technically, I'm not allowed to take tips at Home Depot if I'm cutting people's lumber, right?
mm-hmm.
But people, you know what I'm saying? Like people fuck with me, or people just want to give off how they still go.
I was taking tips, bro.
So if I take a tip and my coworker sees that shit and he goes or she goes and tells my supervisor, you a snitch.
That's corny, yo.
Snitch.
I mean, that's corny, but you're not a snitch to me. You just talented. A snitch to me is like if y'all doing the same shit. Like, let's say that same coworker is taking tips, but they go tell the boss that you taking tips. Now, to me, they're a snitch. But if they aren't taking tips and they just see you taking tips and say something, they just tattling. Like, in a way, they drawing. They're doing shit that's unnecessary, but they not a snitch. They just really just doing their job. You know?
Think about this right here.
My job too. I'm gonna start tying niggas shoelaces underneath the table when they at the lunch. So as soon as they got up to go back to the floor, they trip the fuck over. Fuck out of here.
Oh man.
No, cuz peep in. My man heard his next door neighbor out next door beating on his girl, right? Dude was beating on his girl. Him and his cousin went over there, broke the shit up. Right? Next day, boy came back, shot up the crib.
Oh shit.
So, is it he's a regular nigga sound like, all right, look, you ain't gonna be beating on this shit because we know about it, right? But he's doing some stand-up shit. The consequences of that is boy came out like, all right, you want to break some shit up, I'm shooting up your crib. Now, if he were to go to the police, is he a snitch? He trying to be a good citizen. He's it's a iffy game that we play with this shit. It's like you trying to do some stand-up shit. It's almost that's why people mind their business. But you trying to do the right thing. What you feel like is the right thing is almost like nah, it's not the right thing. It's like we have a skewed way of looking at society, bro. That shit's fucked up.
That's part of like the trauma black people carry because we do carry. Because of that trauma, we carry like this resentment towards the police because we seen how the police treated us so long. There's almost just like you don't picture people in that type of danger because you know when you're involved in what can happen. But at the same time, motherfuckers still gotta be held accountable too. Like,
Yeah, I'm about to say because like I'm with you on that, Dash, but like I'm not going to say that because another motherfucker's trauma predisposes them to looking at a perspective differently, or looking at a perspective as if they're the victim, that they're allowed to just go ahead and be scumbags though. Because if
no,
you're beating that
Nah,
woman next door and I can't, that's gonna fuck with my peace. So
nah, I
even if
told,
I don't go to the cops, I'm not just gonna be chilling in my crib neither, because that's going you fucking with my peace now. So something has to be addressed. You know what I'm saying?
no,
I don't give a fuck about your history, about like cops or about whatever. At that point,
no. Think about that for a second, yeah.
do something
I,
about it done.
what I say last John, right? I was like, look, why are you a hostage in your own neighborhood?
Mm.
You basically a hostage, cuz. Like you feel like you over here like, all right, I paid for this crib, and then you got motherfuckers shooting up on your block. I got kids here.
Mm.
You trapped, cuz you can't afford nothing else. And I'm not supposed to go. I'm supposed to just deal with it.
But
That's how
who's
shit
saying
supposed to go.
supposed to though? That's what I'm saying,
Know
Von. Like,
why? Know
all right,
why? Like
let's
I
bring
said,
it let's bring it
like I
right
said
back to what
before.
we're talking about
Like
as
I said,
far as
like I
what
said
is
before.
black. Since the question is what is black, who the fuck is saying that we are supposed to be moving in such a way that we allow these elements to
Nigga, but
prevail
like
in
this,
this?
we do, because know what happens? If you do say something, it's motherfuckers that's not even involved in that shit that call you a snitch, and now you're an outcast, and if you're trapped in the whole same cycle. So it's like the situation to just deal with it, nigga, until like everybody say stop snitching, until they little girl get hit. Then no, you now speak up. Like, nah, we ain't doing that speak up shit. Like you didn't say nothing when my people got hit. They a trap situation, bro. It's like
But
it's crazy when you look at that shit. Like you
that's
got baby, you got pregnant women getting hit.
you're right. Right. It ain't nothing new. It's horrible, but it ain't nothing new. But that's part of the issue too. Because it feels like nobody got the backbone to take a slap on the cheek now. Like motherfuckers are so well into their emotions that it's like, yo, I can't say nothing. Okay, cool. If something happened to you, you feel my pain now. Nobody has the wherewithal to step up to and break the cycle, because it's safer to just be a part of the cycle.
that's
That's a,
part of the problem. Like, people are too scared. Like, back in the day, you could
nah.
depend
Back in the day, you couldn't do that goofy shit, man. It
on
was more order.
kids.
It was
Now,
more order. You couldn't do that. You couldn't do that shit back in the day. Niggas like when dudes did that shit. Like I'm from Harlem, bro. When Kevin Child's mom got killed, that was a big fucking deal. Like you killing people's moms, dog. We don't respect that. Kids getting you got over here, kids getting kidnapped. I'm like, yo, bro, when has that been cool? But hey, man,
I feel you though.
we glorify that dumb shit every day, though.
I feel you. Hey, Wills, what's going on with you, fam? And Osama Dot, what's going on? And Kiara Lopez, what's going on, love? Meteor
well,
Man, huh?
I said I can't see the comments no more.
It's all love. I got you. Meteor Man said black is a state of mind. Hey, could you elaborate a little bit upon that, Meteor Man? I'd like to jump into that. I dig where you're going, but could you give a little bit more of elaboration on that? And that African butterfly said, but society will always have opinions. It's up to individuals what they choose to enforce in their lives. Yay. Kia said let Dash talk. So Dash, you gotta jump in. The people want to hear from you, man.
I mean, like, I'm agreeing with some of what y'all saying, and some are not. Like, I'm just taking it in now. But all right, so going back to, I forgot who said it though, but just going back to the community that brought it up. Like, I just vividly remember how, like, yesteryear communities were like more involved. Like, even like in child raising. So I could remember as like a little youngster in my early preteens, like the neighborhood, they knew me. They knew my mom, they knew my sister. Like, anybody on the block could say something to me, and I had to respect it, because like if they took it to my mom was believing them. Like, it was like the community. Like, we watched over each other. Like everybody on the block took care of everybody's kids. Like you couldn't really get on the block too much and just get away with too much shit without somebody, everybody protecting each other. But nowadays we don't even have that. Like you can't. I can't walk outside and expose my neighbor's kid without the neighbor's parents attacking them. You know, like you. So like already you kind of destroy the neighborhood to an extent because you don't have that neighborly bond. So when shit do, like people is for self, you know, like, and it's just like, why am I going to take up or, you know, put myself at risk for somebody I barely even know, you know? Like it's easier to stand up for what's right when you know the people involved. Like it's harder when you don't know, you know, where you don't really got no cards in the game. Like yeah, you feel sympathetic that they might be going through some shit or like their baby might have got shot or something. But at the same time, you just like, I ain't gonna put myself in a position where they come shoot me or my baby.
Yeah, you over here like, so you mind your business.
Hold on, Vaughn. Pardon. We got a young lady in the building, and she's a loved one. That African butterfly.
Hey, guys. Hi, guys. Thanks for adding me.
What's going on?
Right on.
Thank you for joining us.
So
Absolutely.
What's your
What was that?
What's
you
your
broke
addition?
up a little.
Oh, my fault.
Oh.
Pardon me. So you have to add, what's your insight here? Please, bless us.
Well, you guys have gone in various directions. I originally was tapping on to talk about my black card being revoked because, as I know, and I recently posted that poem about being an Oreo, that's definitely something I've always had to deal with. And I think someone even mentioned in the comments about really what? Oh, the Oreo thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm over here looking like you look pretty brown to me.
I am, hence an Oreo, black on the outside, white on the inside. So I grew up in upstate New York, around in a predominantly white neighborhood, and so I would always get teased for being. It's interesting though because when I was around other black people, it was an insult, and when I was around white people, it was a compliment. Like, oh, you're not like other black people because you're more white, and then I'd be around black people, they're like, you're not black, you're white. So it definitely a mind fuck when you're growing up and you're a kid trying to figure out where you fit in. Like you don't fit in either place.
I had certain things like that because I love vocabulary. So when I was coming up, I would use certain words that around certain black folks, they would make fun of me and shit. And I kind of stepped outside of myself sometimes and used words where I didn't really use it in proper context, but they were actual words. Niggas be making fun of me like ha 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 medicinal.
No, it's funny how no. It's funny how ignorance is cool, right? It's funny how ignorance is cool, right?
Yep. And that was always so frustrating to me. It's like it's cool to not put in an effort. It's cool to be ignorant. It's cool to do all those things, but the minute you're a nerd, you like to read, you like to do all those things, then you're not cool. Or what really has bugged me, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it until I got older, was what really bugged me about it was the alignment of intelligence and all those things to whiteness. Like, why is that a white trait? Like, do you realize when you say that because, you know, we're using big words or we're being a nerd that we're being white, what you're saying is that those are white character traits. And why don't we see those as black excellence character traits? So I love that black excellence is being talked about more because that's exactly what it is. It's not a white or black thing. It's just an excellence thing, an intelligence thing. And it shouldn't be put aside to one particular race.
I don't know, but that's the problem.
No, who don't talk that goofy shit?
Asians. That's why I was bringing up last episode about how we use the intelligence as a barometer. It's like you're not black enough, or you're too white. Like that's stupid. Like that's just the trauma that we got from growing up and being taught to hate ourselves. Like images on TV and hearing culture point where all you do is have like this self-hatred and see the value of what's right. But one is educated, you know, what you should be doing is like partnering around that person or trying to learn from that person. But instead we take that time to dumb them down, to be like, oh, you're not one of us because you aren't struggling with your math like I am, you know, like things aren't as hard as for you. Like, this is the quote unquote black life because this is what we hear in the music about the struggle so much. We all hear so much about the uplifting and the positivity. Well, until recently, you know, like we just really started getting that in the music. And even that's still, but for like us growing up, like all we heard was the ghetto, you know, like the grime, you know, the street, the dumbness, you know, like, so it's like when people are thought provoking, they kind of they spark your intellect to make you think, you know, like it was looked upon as like, oh, okay, you're white, you know, like, and that's like one of the biggest insults you can take as a black person too, like, it's just like, well, am I supposed to be dumb? Like, I'm not supposed
Right.
to be educated because you aren't educated. Like, if you need a tutor, just let me know. Like,
Yeah, I mean, but that's so true, and it's one of the things that I love that you guys touched on Sunday when you talked about it, like certain points and how it's really like us having that systemic racism and white supremacy internalized. Like, it's so internalized that there are certain things that are our culture or that are naturally that we just turn around and we're like, oh, this is wrong or this is good, but it's not really based on anything that helps us. Or even like, and I know you guys don't have to deal with it, but even like girls in the hair, right? And like to this day, we still have like women who think like doing your natural hair is like so wrong, it's so messy, like you need to have it relaxed or whatever. That, like, what? Like, the hair that God gave us that grew out of our head is wrong because we have so long been held to European standards of having straight hair. Like, that is internalized hate from white supremacy. Like, that's what you're feeding on. And we've just been around for so long and had so many of these things put on us that we feel like, oh, that's just how it is. It's kind of like what you guys were saying earlier about society stuff and who sets those standards. Society is always going to set those standards, and you just have to agree, like, what you take on and what you don't, and then it's up to us to move that needle where we want it to go to make certain things acceptable or not acceptable, and for us to recognize, like, hey, when they're telling me this, it's not because it's actually wrong, it's because they see it as wrong because it's not beneficial to them, because society rules, even laws aren't always morally right. It's just about who has power. There's lots of laws that have been in place over time that had nothing to do with morals. It's all about power. So you have to figure out a way, like, if what they're telling you is taking away our power or giving it to us. And a lot of it was stuff that was taking away our power because it was making us hate ourselves. And so now it's up to us to, like, really dig our way through that and be like, okay, what's really us and what's not.
I love the fact that you talked about power as far as, you know, how law is not necessarily a matter of right or wrong, but it's about power. In our last conversation, we talked about how racism had a connection to power constructs. So I want to ask you, that African butterfly, and Dash as well as everybody up in here, how do you feel the term black connects to power in relation to how it applies to us as a community, within our community and outside of our community? Because I feel like there's such an emphasis on black that sometimes there are multiple loopholes by which people can tout this title and do various shit with it while holding the banner. As long as they hold the banner of black, you know what I mean? It's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll let Dash go first since I was just talking away.
How so revise that question for me again?
How does power and the term black connect for you in relation to how it's used within our community and in relation to how you perceive it being seen outside of our community?
Well, I feel like black people are super powerful. Like, when we band together, shit move. But the problem is we don't band together. Like, everyone always has their own ulterior motives besides the initial goal. And then when we do have a set goal, some people get sidetracked by, you know, the green lights. And what I mean by the green light is like the first step into it. Like, oh, we got this first step. Okay, well, we can fall back now. Like, it's all right. I'm gonna go back to the president talk. Like, how before the election, everyone was behind Camilla and Joe Biden, and they was preaching how they was going to do this, that, and the third for the black community. Now I'm just speaking about the masses. I'm speaking about the masses, not anybody individually. And you let it fly. But for the masses, you know, and the masses in America, black people got behind Joe Biden, and he got the black vote because he sold us on this bill of goods that he was going to do for us. How he was going to help improve the education system. How he was going to help improve the neighborhoods, provide more jobs, this, that, and the third. Now, a lot of black people got complacent with the fact that he got elected, assuming a politician is just going to be kept to their word, you know. But if you follow this shit, or you just pay attention in life in general, you know, politicians are 90% liars, 8% opportunists. So that leaves that 2% chance that they're really going to do what they said they're going to do. So it's up to you as the people, even once elected, to continue holding your foot on their neck until changes move. Now, we as a whole, black people, we get real complacent when we feel like we have someone we want in office or in power. And we assume just because they're in office or in power, they're just going to magically take care of whatever issues we had. You know, i.e. Barack Obama when he was in office. Like, I can go on the stories I heard from black people, like, oh, America's about to change because we got a black president. No. It don't work that easily. Like, if it did, it wouldn't happen, you know. Like, you need to continue to apply that pressure, because even when we have someone in office, you got to continue coming in forces, because when we get behind something, shit move, because people want that black dollar. People want that black vote. You know, it goes unsaid, but we shift the culture. When a large group of black people get behind it, white people typically get behind it as well. You know, like Asians typically get behind the white people, but most people, well, in the whole, everybody kind of get their culture from black people. Everybody wants to be black, but don't want to be black at the same time. Like they like the culture, they like our lifestyle, the way we dance, dress, talk, act, do such a thing, but they don't want the skin color. They don't want the drama that come with it. They don't want the harassment that come with it. The staring eyes when you go into certain stores, you know, being followed behind, the cops following behind you just because you black in a white neighborhood. They don't want that extra shit, but they want the perks of what they feel like being black is.
True. So I'm going to answer your question, Jeide, but first I have to touch on something with the political thing with Dash, because you know I run in political circles a little bit here. I do have to say, I feel like for the most part, people weren't hugely like, oh, Biden's going to change everything. It was like, he's better than Trump. Like, let's just get someone in that's better than Trump. And that's, I mean, most of the people, even me, I was like, ugh, if he's just a better option. But I do feel like over time, and it's actually one of the positive things about having Trump in office, is it woke a lot of people up to the fact that we have to be more involved in the government. We have to be more involved in the things that are going on. We can't just leave it to the powers that be, because either shit doesn't get done or it goes way left, and it shouldn't. And so as a result, we have so many more women and minorities and different groups of representation within offices that are actually making a difference, which is huge. Because the thing is, everyone loves the presidential election because it's hype, right? It's big. We talk about it, blah, blah, blah. But who put your states on mandates when the mask stuff came? It was your governors. You know, who assigns your chief of police? It's your city mayor. We all want to talk about the president, but the people who actually impact our life are local elections, our local officials, and people need to pay attention to those people. You need to know who your city councilor is. You know who your mayor is. You want to make changes in your police? Like, yeah, we can all get online and Black Lives Matters, but like, do you know the chief of police for your town? Like, have you ever been to any of those meetings? Have you ever talked to those people to make changes? Like, that's how you make actual change. It's at the ground level. So yes, the president matters. Yes, the president makes a difference. And yes, I know Vaughn was saying, you know, Trump got a lot of stuff done. Yeah, you can executive order a lot of stuff, which isn't quite the way democracy is supposed to work, but that's okay. But at the end of the day, it's all of us getting involved and getting our hands in it that really is going to make that change, really understanding our local officials, because they're the ones, like I said, your governor did your state mandate, your mayor does your police chief. They're the ones who actually impact your day-to-day life. And so the good thing is that we actually have had more people getting involved in stuff like that. And I know the media doesn't talk about it, so we don't see it as much and you have to look for it, but that's something that I personally hold on to give me like a little bit of hope that it's not all bad, is knowing that we have had that type of like increased improvement.
See, I think that
And then
initially, but it's kind of died out for me, at least like me seeing it. I haven't seen it so much in the last 3 months. Like initially, like
yeah.
at
Well,
the
there's no election right now, so you see it a lot more when there's election time because they're all in your face. Trust me, you'll see it again. It's coming back. We're revving up for election season.
Right.
like,
You'll see it. And then as far as your question, Jeide, it's a good question as far as like how we within it see Black and how people from the outside. Dash was saying it a little bit, and there's a quote that I heard once, which is that they want our swag, but not our struggle. And I really think like from the outside, that's how they see us and that's how they view us. Like they want all the things about us that make us cool or hip or whatever, but when it comes down to it, they still see us on some level as lesser, right? And I think that right now we're in a time where we're really trying to sort of take back that Blackness and take the power back to it. That's why there's Black joy, Black love, Black excellence. Like we're attaching Black to all those things. And for some people, especially, you know, our friends of other races, it's like, well, why does race matter? It's like it matters because you need to know that we don't live in the same reality. Like my friends who I grew up with my entire life, went to the same school, we did not have the same life experiences. And that's because my Black experience is different than their white experience, even if we live in the same neighborhood and went to the same school. So I think that we're really in a time right now where we as Black people are trying to take back that Blackness and trying to change the narrative around it, trying to change the conversation around it, and trying to change how it's perceived so that it's not always a Black thug, it's Black excellence. You know, it's not Black broken homes, it's Black love. Like we're trying to show the other side that Blackness thrives just as much as whiteness. It's just for the longest time there was no representation of that. So we were all seeing all like the negatives of it, and we were internalizing that, going back to that, you know, internalized hatred. We're internalizing that, and so now we're really making an effort to say, hey, here's all the good stuff. We're good. We're not a monolith. There's a wide variety of Black people, and it's not all bad Black people either. They're not all scary thugs, whatever. There's good Black people. There's Black people doing wonderful things. And so I think that that's really what we're seeing now, and that's why we're seeing so much of a push on Blackness, but it's because we're trying to change that narrative of what Blackness is.
I dig that. I dig that. Yeah, you got a lot of people over here with jazz snaps on you right now.
Thanks, guys.
Loving what you dropping right now. They loving it. But there's a comment that I want to get into and see if we could dissect it a little bit. It's an interesting comment, and it's one that I actually empathize with to a good degree. Omi Create said, as a people, there's power in community. However, Black has no legal standing and means slave by law. I'll say this before I give it to the both of you, because I would love to hear y'all insights on this. There is a fine line between between the confidence and the self-awareness that one must have in order for self-knowledge to be a core element versus somebody who is pushing something to make up for a deficit or to compensate for something that they feel that they lack, that they might not express outwardly or externally. So with that being said, I understand the strength in attaching Blackness to everything. However, there's a caution that goes on in the back of my head when I see it too many times, because we're living in a hyper political state. Anything that somebody could use to attach themselves to whether it's a socioeconomic situation, whether it's something that connects to being able to talk to various sects or various castes and whatnot, if it becomes something that is so large that once again we're waving flags or whatnot, it's like the difference between having a business where it's like personally owned or it's like a mom and pops versus being on Wall Street. Because once you're on Wall Street, now you got stockholders, now you got shareholders, now you got other people who have a say in what you do, that it could deviate from what possibly could have been the original mission statement. So with that being said, how do y'all feel about this statement that Omi has presented as far as Black having no legal standing? Mind you, that's the main thing, the legal standing of how we look at Black in America and how it might mean slave by law.
So I'm going to speak on that because I actually don't know how much longer I'll be able to stay on. My battery's dying. But I did want to speak first, though, on what you said about like it getting too big and moving away from like the mom and pops of it to being like a corporation. You need both at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like when I think about like the riots and the protests and things like that happened after George Floyd, there were so many people who were like, I didn't realize things were that bad and I didn't blah, blah, blah. But leading up to that, there were protests in Flint. There were protests in other places for years leading up to that. So that's like that mom and pop thing, right? Or even like we were just talking about with the government. There are people who are on the local level doing the work, putting in the work, local senators, local councilmen. But people don't really tend to see it or pay attention to it until you get it on the big scale. And then they also have all their comments as well, because you're never going to make anybody happy. But you need that. Like, you need the people who are bringing the attention to it, and then it just becomes the hope that, like, okay, you see it now. Now what are you going to individually take and do about it? Like, how are you going to take, oh, okay, I see Black Lives Matter everywhere. Like, great, it's some great movement. But it's like, okay, how do I take this movement that I see and apply it to myself? Like, how do I take that and find a local organization that I can volunteer with, or find a local politician that I can help? You definitely need both, because unfortunately, if you keep it at the small level, people just don't care, which is very annoying, you know? And then as far as what she was saying, I think that, you know, she's absolutely right, because for the longest time, we haven't had that power, right? Because it's been in the hands of others. Even if you think about on like the, like literally on like the level of like prison terms and slavery, like if anyone watching this hasn't seen 13th, you got to see it. It's amazing. But especially it starts off talking about how when slavery ended, incarceration rose up because it's the new form of slavery. And now, like, you know, who's putting people in those jails? Who's making those laws? They're not Black people for the most part, so they're getting put in jail for like minor laws, minor infractions, and they're being put away. And that's why it's important for us to put ourselves in those positions, like become lawyers, become cops, but become lawyers, become judges, because that's how you move the needle and that's how you make the change. And it's unfortunate that part of that is also playing the game, which is why I give like Kamala a grain of salt, because you got to play the game a little bit to get in the door, and then you get bashed for the game that you like. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're trying to help, you still get bashed for the bit that you have to do to get yourselves in the door. But if you were starchly one way, you would have never gotten in that door, and then you would have never been able to make that change. Same thing with Obama. Like, he got so much crap, but there's a level of democracy that you have to do and have to move the needle to get anything done. You know, so I think it's just like, if we want those things moved, like, we just can't talk about it. We have to get involved and we have to make those changes. Even, again, when we talk about cops, and I talk about it a lot because incarceration is something I feel very strongly about, because it frustrates me so much. Like the bail bond system, there are so many people in jail who haven't even been put up yet, and people get out on bond, and it's purely economics. Purely economics. Like, someone can be in jail for years for a small thing and do something horrible and get out because they have the money to pay for bond. It's ridiculous. But when you talk about even like with the cops, a lot of times, like, let's say there's a police shooting. Yes, we should change the rules and the policies to make those things safer. But at the end of the day, punishment is rolled out in the courts. It's the prosecutor who decides if they're going to try them, and the judge in the court system that decides their guilt. So as much as we are, you know, yeah, change, you know, defund the police, change policy, we also need to be putting that energy into the court system. Like, who is your prosecutor? Who are they putting in jail? Are they pulling those cops up when they do stuff, or are they letting it go? All of that stuff really matters, which again circles back to like, who's your mayor who assigned that person? You know what I mean? Like, it's just really important to get involved. And I feel like a lot of people, like you said, they see the bigger thing, right? They see the big Black Lives Matters, and the people who are flashing and they don't really pay enough attention to how much groundwork is needed, like how much you really need a boots on the ground. Look at your city. And it helps too. Like I suffer from depression. I live with depression. And sometimes I very much get like, oh, nothing's changing. The world is horrible. This is all shit. But then I'll be like, okay, I changed this one thing, or I helped in this one area. And sometimes that's all you need is to like get involved, like with one organization, one town, and know that you're making that little bit of a difference. Because if everybody made that little bit of a difference, you get the big change that you're looking for.
Well said.
Off my soapbox now.
But I'm going back when I said we fell back, because initially when Trump was going out of office, you did see more participation in your neighborhoods. You did see more activity in your neighborhoods. And I'm just speaking for the neighborhoods I'm seeing on a day-to-day. I do personal activities. And even nowadays, there's still active meetings that the police try to hold that are empty rooms most times. Like, people aren't going out to address their issues. So while we can say like people are making change, a lot of people aren't, you know. And like, while I do agree with like a lot of things that you said, I disagree with a lot as well. Particularly the boots on the strap. Like, I do feel like we need people on the ground level, like trying to get things moving. But as you said earlier, like, it's been protesters going on for years. So for me, like, when I hear individuals say they didn't know that things were this bad, it's just like, well, how could you not know unless you're not paying attention, or you choose not to pay attention? You know, that's what I liked about the Black Lives Matter movement, because it was so in your face, you couldn't ignore it. Like, even if you tried to, it just kept smacking you, because it's in your sports, it's in your politics, it's in your news, it's in your weather, it's in your everything. Like, whatever you turn on, it was right there in front of your face. And like, that's kind of how we as Black people need to be, because when we're like that, we get shit moving. And for a race that's constantly complaining about what hasn't been done for us, we always take the easy way out, or we get complacent when we start to see the slightest bit of progress. We go, oh, okay, they're starting to make change. And then we fall back, and everybody get into their day-to-day life, or whatever things meant to them before the bigger issue becomes resolved, until that's an issue again. Like, we done seen Black person get killed at the Black person. We done had multiple protesters this past summer. And it seemed it would be a protest for a couple months. Everybody get the rah, rah, rah. It get quiet for a couple months, and then another explosion go. Instead of consistently staying on the police, because like the police brutality, that's an issue statewide. That's not like one particular state going through that. With the only point I definitely agree with, because like Black people, we never had laws and order. That's why so many Black people got behind Biden, because he did promise to put laws and order for Black people. Like, the Constitution isn't built for us at all. Like, nothing about the Constitution is built for a Black man or woman. Like, and even after slavery, it was rules in place. Like Portland, Oregon, like, they weren't after slavery, they weren't holding on to slaves, but they made the state of Oregon so uncomfortable for Black people that Black people didn't want to go out there. Like, I posted the meme about it yesterday, because like it kept popping up on my timeline, but it was like a real story. And the girl, she took her time to explain like how they put laws and order clear as day about how they would discriminate against Black people. Like, sometimes that hatred just runs so deep that you just you can't even try to, you kind of got to just be up in their face, to the point where you just like almost smacking them like, no, I'm not going to tolerate this. No, I'm not going to tolerate this. No, I'm not going to tolerate this. Like, when Asian people, they move, like, all right, I'm going to use the LGBT community. Like, when they move, you feel them. Like, they get their shit moving in order. Like, people rally behind, because they be like, all right, we got one common goal. This is the common goal. Let's put all our personal agendas to the side, and let's get this thing in order. Once we get that in order, then we can start addressing our individual goals. Like, maybe the gays want to do something that the lesbians want to do differently. But the common goal is, yo, we're going to get such and such done. Like, when they wanted to get same-sex marriage installed, that shit happened like overnight. Like, they bound together. Like, you was hearing about the LGBT community from Sports Center to your local news station. to big news to small station because they stood in unison and made that movement what it was. Like black people, we even started destroying Black Lives Matter. Like, because I heard a lot of people saying, well, who runs Black Lives Matter? Why would I want to be associated with Black Lives Matter and finding fault in it? Like, instead of being like, you know what, this entity is trying to build something for the betterment of my people. Let me try to rally behind it, you know?
Mm, mm. That Rastafari lifestyle is looking real beautiful on me right now. We don't trust no politician. Only Jah and smoke my weed.
Look, we got a long way to go, but hopefully we make a change. Like all you can do each day is like play your part and just continue to like fight the good fight, you know.
Nah, that's a fact. That's a fact. We rounding off on the 65th, or actually the 66th minute right now. Thank y'all for such an enthusiastic and passionate conversation once again on this part 2. But before we out, you know what the tradition is. But before we get to that, hey, High Science, T-Shirt Mercenary, official sponsors for PVM. Check them out, T-Shirt Mercenary on IG. High Science on IG. We will have PVM merchandise on T-Shirt Mercenary very soon. So keep it locked, keep it checked. But before that, well, before we out of here, I should say, what's one thing that you would like to leave on the table here on this conversation, sir?
Well, first, everyone subscribe to the YouTube channel. You know, definitely help get them views up because eventually we're going to get to the point where you guys won't be able to have the full episodes on Instagram. You'll actually have to go to YouTube. So let's get into order on that so it's not like a hard transition. But stay blessed up, you know, like stay blessed up, stay loved up, you know. And Black Power, you know, like and when I say Black Power, it's not just specifically to Black people, you know, like Black Power I always internalized as like that dark energy in you, you know, and not negative, but the dark energy is always supposed to, at least in the videos I've seen, it's always supposed to be like the most powerful form of you, you know, like your spirit beast to an extent, you know, like the bravest parts of you, you know, so express that, you know, like these conversations that we had on this live, like have these conversations with other Black friends, have them with your white friends, have them with your Asian friends, your Puerto Rican shit, whatever, you know, like the more we as people are open to allow others to understand us and telling them where the disconnect resolves, the better chance we'll have of closing that disconnect, you know. Because I believe no one is born racist. That's a taught behavior. So if we can just get to the point where we're unteaching that behavior, you know, and we're unlearning bad habits and learning new, and, you know, like that takes a lot on both ends because that's not just white people have to be better. That's also Black people have to be better too, and have to allow a white person to, you know, understand, and also can't jump on them the minute they fuck up because like I've been one who's done it, like where like a white person might slip up, you know, say the N-word or whatever, you know, not even from a malicious place, but it's more so like a place of understanding, and I'm just on attack mode, you know, like sometimes you kind of got to get that grace to somebody and allow them that understand. Now, once you're allowed them to understand and they continue to do something, then that's an issue. You correct that shit, but like initially you just allow grace and allow understanding, you know, no one's perfect. We all flawed.
Big on it. Journal Girl is asking, what's the YouTube channel's name?
Positive Vibes, maybe.
Yeah. And as far as what I'm going to put on the table, it's really quite simple. We're going to leave right on this note. Won't you help me say these songs of freedom? It's not Republican or Democrat.
Oh, yeah.
It comes from the heart. It's a high science, and that's word to the logo on my hat.
No, before we leave, we do gotta say that though, because I don't want nobody to vote for party. Like that's what we do gotta stop doing as Black people, because Black people got this notion that the Democrats are for Black people, you know. And I even grew up with that notion, like the Democrats were always taking care of Black people. But if we just look through the history books, the Republicans started off with the Black interests. You know, the Democrats was fully against Blacks. And honestly, we shouldn't even be rooting for a party. Like every black person should be rooting for self and community when we vote. Like, yes, vote. Take the time to understand who you're voting for before voting, and vote for us. Don't vote for party, vote for us, regardless of party. Like, it could be an independent, it could be a Republican, it could be a Democrat, but whoever fits what you need best. And what I mean by that, your lifestyle, your community, the people around you, your loved ones. How is it going to affect not just you, but those around you? You know, like, just because you got money don't mean those around you got money. So when you're voting for these laws, you have to be mindful of that. Like, how is this going to affect my loved ones? You know.
That's a fact. Listen, that's a beautiful way to end this out. We going to be back on this live. Hey, listen, I know it's Super Bowl Sunday. We understand that, but we're going to have a nice special that's going to be manned by Dash. You know what I'm saying? Dash is going to hold it down, you know what I'm saying, for a special PVM this Sunday. I don't know what time we're going to do it, because at 2? Okay, well, at 2 p.m. this Sunday, PVM. Hopefully, if I'm able to get away from the Super Bowl party that I'm kind of stuck in, I'll be able to come in and show myself a little bit.
That's why I'm saying 2 o'clock, because it gives me 5 hours. You know. Also, you know, who you pick for Super Sunday? Since we're doing that real quick, who you pick for Super Sunday?
Me, nigga. I ain't got nothing invested in this shit. I'm just waiting for the halftime show.
Halftime show gonna be live. Tune in for that, guys. The game is gonna be phenomenal itself, because we got the young upstart Cincinnati Bengals, who I got a nice sizable bet on winning this thing, versus the Los Angeles Rams and Odell Beckham. Now, for the halftime performance, we got one Dr. Dre, the GOAT. We got the OG Snoop Doggy Dogg. We got my favorite, Mary. We got the boy K-Dot representing. And we got the white boy Eminem, you know, just for diversity, you know. And don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if we get a cameo by Ice Cube. Now, I ain't saying it's going to happen, but I'm just saying, I done heard some shit. Like, don't be surprised if we get the OG out there. So, you know what I'm saying? Tune into the Super Bowl. And for the commercials, too, because the commercials is always fire, you know.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Hey, we are out. Once again, thank you. We sending our love to Von Brown. Much love for joining us. That African Butterfly. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for coming through and for preaching this Wednesday evening. We going to be back again, PVM, 2 p.m. this Sunday. Until then, we love you. Peace.